What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Beyond the Neon Veil. I'm your host, Cousin Ryan, and this is part 2 of Rachel Silverstream's interview. We're going to go ahead and just jump right into it. I hope you enjoy. When was the last time you were here?
Ooh, it had to have been like 2018 or it had to be like 2017. It was actually right after I found out about the Schmodown. I was on tour with An American in Paris, and we were in LA for 3 weeks, and then in the middle of that was WonderCon, which is where I found out about Schmodown and everything, and it was amazing. And then the next week was the tour wasn't making enough money to legitimize me having an assistant on the tour. So LA was supposed to be her last week. But my boss and I were talking about it, and he was like, look, you're going to be doing the rest of the tour by yourself. Do you want, like, A, do you feel comfortable? And B, do you want her to run the show in Vegas so that you have a week off? And like, you can go home, you can do whatever, but you have that week off. And I'm like, fuck yes, I want a week off in Vegas. And yes, I will be in Vegas for this, because not only was it over my birthday, it was also Viva.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which I fucking loved. So the year before, I had invited a friend of mine who was a tattoo artist from Anchorage. A bunch of us on the tour got together, or a few years prior to that, a few of us on my other tour got together, and we paid for my friend to come from Anchorage to Vegas to tattoo us. So like, we paid for her flight, we paid for her hotel room, and then like whoever chipped in for either of those, like, she just deducted that amount from the tattoo that she would do for us.
Oh, that's cool.
And then she like got to hang out with us for a while, and it was amazing. Like, she's so lovely. I absolutely adore her. And then for my last trip to Vegas, she and like 3 of her girlfriends from Anchorage decided that they were going to come down, because I was like, yeah, we're going to be in Vegas. I'm going to have the week off. It's Viva. And she's like, wait, it's Viva? I'm like, yeah. For those who don't know, Viva Las Vegas is a convention, kind of. It's more of a festival, I guess, centering around pinup and rockabilly culture, which I love. The hair, the makeup, the clothes, the flowers, just the cars, the music, everything is just fucking amazing. And they've got like burlesque, like literally like the best burlesque dancers in the world come out for Viva, and it's every year in Vegas, and it's fucking phenomenal. It's not that expensive either, in comparison to like other conventions and stuff. So my friend Danielle and her 3 girls, who are all also tattoo artists, came down. We got them like a deal for their hotel room, because they stayed at the same hotel that we did. So I just like asked for another hotel room. And I got to spend that week off hanging out with my friends, going and getting tattoos, hanging out at Viva, going to Nacho Daddy, which is my favorite restaurant.
So,
oh my God.
Okay, so on that, that's actually on our Twitch team. That's actually my gamer tag on our Twitch group, because every time we go, I make all of my friends take the scorpion shots with me. So, but yeah, I love Nacho Daddy. It's like one of my favorite places to go.
Nacho Daddy, we went there to celebrate my birthday at Nacho Daddy. They brought out like this massive bowl of guacamole with a candle in it to sing me happy birthday. And I'm like, this is the best birthday ever. I get to blow out my candle and I get a giant bowl of guac. Like, oh my God, I'm never leaving. Plus, I feel like I'm vegan too, so
Right.
it helps me have like things that I can actually eat that are stunningly delicious.
They're what is it? Avocado tacos are amazing. I love those.
You know
Love
what?
them.
I'm gonna piss off a lot of people. Better than Torchys. Sorry.
Really?
Yeah.
Hot take. That's a hot take right there.
That's a very hot take. I know the Adams brothers are hearing this and just be like, bitch. No, Torchys is amazing. I love Torchys, but there's something about Nacho Daddy avocado tacos that are just epic. They're so good. Like, you legitimately can't get enough of them.
Yeah.
Like, at all.
Facts.
Like, I literally stopped in Vegas one time as I was driving back. I was driving my sister's car cross country because they had come to move out from like the Carolinas back to California. And about like 2 hours outside of town, like one of the cars broke down. So they had to like send it back to the shop, and my sister and niece had to fly, whatever. So their car was still in North Carolina, but they've got like, I think my niece at the time was like 9 months old, something like that, like me almost one. And so it was like I had the summer between tours off, and so I was like, you guys fly me out there and like give me money for gas, I'll drive back and like stay with friends through the entire drive. It's like 2 weeks before my next tour starts. Like, what better way to like spend some time than just like fucking cruising across the country? Like, Hamilton had just come out, so I listened to that cast recording like over and over and over, and just like wept through every act two. I stopped in Oklahoma City to see the Newsies tour that was there, so I got to see my boys and my friends that were on that tour. And then I remember very specifically being like, I'm going to take this route so I can stop in Vegas and get Nacho Daddy.
Yes.
like literally all like. Ask anybody. All of my plans, all of my travel stuff centers around, like, I travel like a fat girl. Like, I'm like, I have to get this food. I've done a 24-hour trip to Vancouver to get donuts.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. I mean, to be fair, we were traveling tour was from Costa Mesa to Seattle with a Sunday matinee loadout, which means you do a morning show on Sunday and then that's it. And then you load out. And then once I was done around like 5. So I booked like an 8 p.m. flight to fly to Vancouver, landed. My friend picked me up, stayed at her house that night. And then like the next day, she like took me over to the donut place because I love this place. It's called Cardam's. There's 2 locations. There's one in the heart of downtown Vancouver and then like one a few miles away. I walked in, bought a dozen donuts. She dropped me at the train station and I caught a 3-hour train down to Seattle. Like, no joke.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
Like, I'll go out of my way for good food. Like, I will travel, make plans specifically to get good food.
Food is the way to my heart for sure. So I get you. So when my friends come to visit here in Vegas, I make them go to places that I don't go to unless they're here. So Nacho Daddy's always first on my list to go to because
wait, you don't go to Nacho Daddy without visitors?
Normally, no. I know.
That makes me so sad. Like, now I need to talk to Moose and be like, so when are we going to go see Cousin Ryan? Because we need to get him to go to Nacho Daddy.
You know,
like, I haven't been in years.
I don't think Moose has been to Nacho Daddy with me either. Every time he comes here, we've never gone there. So,
it's so good. It's so good. And then you can walk over to the Golden Nugget, like go hang in the pool and like take the water slide through the shark tank. Yes. Fuck yeah. That's like my favorite day.
Yes.
Spend dinner just like wandering around. What's the Containment Park?
Container Park. I love Container Park.
Oh my God. Yeah. Container Park has such good food. It's literally just like shipping containers, those giant like metal shipping containers, like stacked on each other. Mm-hmm. And it makes like there's shops over there and there's so much food, so much good food and like clothes and just like local, everything's local. It's phenomenal.
We went to a bar at Container Park, me and some friends, and we made friends with the bartender and he ended up not charging us for our drinks, but we tipped him so well because we were there for like 3 hours drinking. And then we was just us. the four of us. And so, we tipped them quite a bit of money just to feed us alcohol for that long. It's a great place. I love it. I go there all the time. All the time.
My girlfriends and I had a place like that in Huntington Beach. It was called Johnny's. I don't know if it's still open or not. I hope it is. But it's like the darkest bar I've ever been in. But it's like old school punk rock. We're talking like Dead Kennedys era.
Oh wow.
Punk rock.
Okay.
Yeah, like I used to go there. My best friend used to live about a mile away from that, and so I used to like just go and hang out at her house. Like the door was just constantly unlocked, so I would just walk in, and this was like an apartment. This is a house that like was just, again, something you could only do in your 20s. Like people would just be sleeping on the couch from the night before, right, that you don't really know. Like the band National Product.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember the band National Product?
Yes.
So Danny and Jeff and a few of the other guys, at some point, every band member has lived in that apartment. But it's like Danny turned the garage into his own little like bedroom, and then Jeff was in the room across the living room. Jess was upstairs in like this massive room that like 3 people could sleep in with like queen beds and still have room to get around in. Like it was a crash pad beyond all belief. But we would go to Johnny's, and I just, Avenged Sevenfold would go there while they're recording and just like hang out.
My other band.
Love them. Like Rev and I used to like sit at the bar. Like he was the sweetest man. Like Matt, everybody was just like the coolest, and they would just show up. But we had a bartender there who, if it was a good night, he wouldn't charge us money. He wouldn't charge us for drinks. Like we had our seats at the corner of the bar, and if you were sitting there when we got there, you didn't have those seats anymore. Like you were moved because those were our seats. And so, but if it was a bad night, we would get charged for the drinks. But either way, it was only with one bartender, with Keith. Oh, I love him. And on good nights, he wouldn't charge us, and then we would just kind of come around to say goodbye and just shove like fistfuls of cash like down his boxers. It was great.
I'm sorry. You name dropped 2 of my favorite bands of all time in this show, and like I'm just blown my mind because like Avenged Sevenfold's hands down my favorite band. I have all of their stuff. I have I have the tattoo, obviously. I have stuff from the Rev's funeral. Like I'm a huge fan. So you're like my new favorite person right now, Rachel. You really are.
that tour that they did after the Rev died, they were in. I was living in Nashville at the time, and they were playing at Bridgestone Arena, and I had gotten a hold. I wanted to surprise them, so I got a hold of their security detail, who was also like head of security on Warped Tour. So called Joey, and I was like, "Hey, I want to surprise the boys. Like, I can bring my table. I can bring my my massage chair if we've got time. Like whatever." And he's like, "No, just come. Like, just come and hang out." So he put me and a friend on the list, and I want to say Breaking Benjamin was with them on that tour for some reason. I think they opened for them. But then Avenged took the stage, and during So Far Away, there was just this fucking singular spotlight on an empty piano, and I could not, like, I broke into 1,000 pieces. Like, whew, that one was rough.
That song makes me teary-eyed every time, like hands down, especially the ending of that song. It's such a powerful song. Such a powerful song.
It's so good. Or what's the other one that they had? Dear God.
Mm-hmm.
That one they did it. That song was also playing on the radio. It started playing after I got off the phone with my stepmom to let me know that my dad was passing away.
Oh no.
And like it was like legit one of those fucking movie moments where like my dad was real sick. He had to get put on a respirator, and so like I knew that like that only happens. They're just buying time. Like there's no coming back from that. Like in this case, there was no coming back from that. So like my mom called me. I was on my way home from work, and she called to tell me that things had gotten worse and that they had put Dad on the respirator and everything. And I'm like, okay, I'll make plan to come home because I know that's it. And so I hung up. And as I'm like in this state of shock and like numbness, that's Dear God started playing, and I like, woof. That was a hard one. So then again, when they came and played, and they played that song, and then there was the light, and Rev had died, like it just brought everything back. It was hard. That was a rough show to go through.
I bet.
But they're so good. They're so good live.
They're one of those few bands who, like Bayside, that are amazing live. They're, they sound like their albums. They sound sometimes better than their albums. They're just amazing. Their performances are incredible.
Yeah, they're just everything you want them to be and more. And I adore them, and I have not seen them in so long, and that now it makes my heart sad. I think I'm gonna make tomorrow an Avenged Sevenfold Day. Like, it's been a while. I miss hearing me getting screamed at by Matt.
Almost every day for me is Avenged Sevenfold Day, so I feel you there. Like, them and Bayside are on my playlist, constantly rotating while I'm working. So,
well, they're a part of a while I tour. I have a Spotify channel called "Get the Fuck Out of My Lobby." So like at the end of the night, people are constantly just like hanging around and like waiting, like trying to close up and everything. So, or like if I'm setting up something and I'm like, I don't have time to talk, I have to set up, like I will just blast this channel from my Spotify, and it's just like loud, angry, yelling rock. There's a lot of like Under Oath on there. There's Hatebreed. There's Avenged, and it's just like anything that will scare your grandmother is on that set list. And so,
and that's all my kind of music, so that's perfect.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like I'm rocking out and screaming along to it as well. But like it's literally put there to keep people from talking to me. Like, please go away. I do not want to talk to you.
So I get that.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Especially like Waking the Fallen, that their old stuff. Matt screaming, that's really gets you going. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I had to stop running on treadmills at the gym while listening to my music because I'm an air drummer by profession. And so I will be running like air drumming and lose my rhythm as I'm running, like trip and shit.
That's so funny.
I remember like probably 10, 15 years ago, I was going to the gym pretty regularly because I was still like living, like I was spending more time living at home than I was on the road. And I just remember going to the gym so many times that like the people who were like selling like the subscription or whatever, or the memberships to the gym would like take people on tours and shit. And I just remember one time somebody like, there was like a row of treadmills and then like a row of elliptical, and then on the other side of that row there was just, I remember looking up after 10 minutes of just intense air drumming and running and just looking up and seeing one of their guys just standing there with his arms crossed and some group standing there looking at me like I'm about to have a seizure, and I've been air drumming, I'm singing along, I'm like bopping along. And after that, I was like, I need to remember that I'm in public when I'm here. This isn't a private gym. This is, people can still see me. Yeah. Probably stop.
I get that. I've caught myself, kind of belting out sometimes. You sometimes can't help yourself, when you're in your own world working out and you hear it. So
you time out those chest presses to like your screams. Fuck yeah, dude.
Hell yeah. Second heartbeat and we just go into town. They're such my favorite band that I remember following when Avenged was playing with Hollywood Undead years ago when Hollywood Undead opened for them. Me and my buddy traveled and followed them and saw 2 shows in a row, and then I traveled again and saw them again like a week and a half later. All the same, it was all the same tour, but it was just like, I have to go see them like this. This is amazing. So
sorry, literally as soon as you said the Hollywood and down, all I heard in my head was Hollywood will never going down. And then the song kicked in and I was like, oh shit.
Yep.
That's definitely early 2000s, Rachel.
The good stuff. Back in the good stuff.
That was when I was on Sunset Boulevard working shows at the Key Club like 5 nights a week.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, something you can only do in your 20s is go to school in the morning and then work in the afternoons, nights, and then speed over that fucking hill on 101 to get into Beverly Hills, and then just race down Sunset, get to the club to make it in on time. And that was a lot of my 20s. And then you're there until like 4 o'clock in the morning because everybody has after parties down in the VIP drinking area. And then you're going over to the Bow and
see, that's where if back in, the early 2000s we were friends, I would have been there because Moose isn't in that kind of music. And I used to visit him all the time when he lived in Buena Park and stuff like that. So, because that's where my family's originally from.
To be fair, Moose would legitimately kill people in a mosh pit. Not on purpose.
No, he's just big.
Just that big.
Big and gangly.
I mean, I would love to see him try like, oh God, what was it called? With everybody like punching and kicking. Slam dance? No. There was some term for it, but it was like very much like a screamo, like wearing like tight girl jeans that were ripped in the knees and all black. Oh God, I would love to see try and do that though.
I would love to see Moose in like some emo clothes, like.
Oh yeah, 100%. Actually, that was something that I wanted to like have him come out. Like we could be like come out as like the emo kids for one of the matches and just like black liner and like just chunky colored hair. I look like I'm in the Millionaires. Ugh.
When he comes to visit, I have to change my playlist because whenever I play like Avenge or those type of things, he's like, "Why are you so sad? Why do you hate the world so much?"
I only ask that about one band, Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah, I get that.
I'm like, Jesus loves you. I'm like, Jesus loves you. Why are you angry at me? Why are you yelling? They're the nicest boys too. They're so quiet. I think I scared them when I worked with them one summer. They were I worked at AT&T, which was the presenting sponsor on Warped Tour, and we sponsored 5 bands, and it was that summer. It was fucking glorious. It was Less Than Jake, Time Low, The Main, 303, and Devil Wears Prada.
That's amazing.
And such a fucking weird mix, but I love all of them so intensely. But Devil Wears Prada was very like, they would just come in, be very quiet. They would like do their signings, do their acoustic show, meet their fans, be very quiet, and then leave. Fucking All Time Low would come like 2 hours early, hang out in the back, steal my microphone because it was the MC. Like, we had to get like extra security because Jack would just like take the mic and like wander around and like find out where the limits were. People would see him and it's fucking Jack from All Time Low, and like all these girls would just lose their fucking minds. We literally kept a tally on a whiteboard on the inside of our tour truck that year for how many girls cried when they met the bands. And like it was pretty neck and neck between like 303 or between All Time Low and The Main.
I believe that.
They're just my baby. They're just my babies. Oh God, it was such a weird time to be alive.
I just remember because I remember Warped Tour with All Time Low playing on one of the main stages, and the girl I was dating at the time, she was on the fence and I was right behind her, and she was so excited. This jackass next to us tried to like elbow his way in front of us.
Ew, fuck him.
He fucking bit him.
Bite him?
She bit him.
Good.
And like left marks, drew blood. He looked at me. He's like, "You gonna do something?" Like, "No, dude, she'll handle it. She's gonna beat your ass now, anyways." So
I'm here to protect you from her, not the other way around. Yeah, dude,
she got it, bro.
That.
She just bit you. So
I mean, don't get me wrong. I hate those guys that like their girlfriends are like tiny and small, and they're like at the front, and their boyfriends just like create a cage around them with their arm, like bop out their elbows. And I'm like, dude, no. If your girlfriend can't fucking hack it in the front row without you, she doesn't deserve to be here. Like, you don't get to create a safe space for her because we're all moshing and having fun. Like, no. Tell her to go back to where, go back and hang out near the sound booth. She'll be fine.
she was the one, because I was like, cool, all time low, I'll watch them, no big deal. But she wanted up front. She grabbed me and like pushed her way
Ran.
through. I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
She's gonna take care of both of us. It's fine.
Absolutely. I mean, I will get down to an all-time low mosh pit. Like, I love give me those pop punk sugary beats. My Alex and my Ryan, my Zach, oh my babies. I just adore them so much. And I keep saying that, but then I'm like, oh wait, Alex is married. Like, we're all adults now, and I'm still calling them my babies. Like,
yeah, I mean, think about it though. Back in, when they were touring, they were babies. Shit, we all were babies.
I mean,
kinda.
That summer was the summer that Jono, who's the singer of Maine, turned 21, and I was on his bus for their party, which is unspeakable. But like, now he's married with a daughter, and I'm like, the shit that I've seen you do, like, I'm like, you're still my baby. I do not care. You're still my kid.
That's so freaking funny. I love it. Oh my God.
I mean, I will say that I am very grateful that of all of the years that I was on Warped Tour, I was never there when we had a Vegas stop, because the horror stories that I have heard about Warped Tour in Vegas, just how hot, like we had stops.
Hot, right?
I mean, we would stop in Las Cruces and New Mexico and Phoenix, Arizona, and like it would get to like 114 in shade. People were, no joke, frying eggs on the ground. Like,
right.
Like in the morning, somebody had a frying pan on the ground and was like frying eggs for breakfast. It was that hot already. Like it was nuts. So I am very grateful that of all the years that I worked Warped Tour, I was never there when we were in Vegas, because I heard that it's just like those cities just like cranked up, and like, that's like, this body is not made for heat. This is made for like cold weather and bearskin rugs and fireplaces. Like, that is what this body is made for.
I get that, because I remember my first concert here outside was for Papa Roach not too long ago, and it was just like, it was like afternoon, but still, you're just like, holy shit, it's hot and there's no shade anywhere. Are you kidding me?
Ugh. And like the breeze that does blow is like
breeze.
hot. It's like hot and humid. It's like literally having somebody just go like down your neck like all day. It's so gross.
Well, and that was what's lucky for when we were young. Like, it was October, so it wasn't hot, but you don't realize like the temperature difference, because once the show was over, it was colder than shit. Once you got away from all those bodies, you're just like, oh, it's not 80 degrees around all those people anymore. It's in the 30s now. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Somebody went to I was planning on going to that, and I was talking to them, and I'm like, make sure and bring a hoodie. Like, either bring one or plan on buying one at the show. And they're like, why? It's fucking Vegas. And I'm like, yeah, and it's the fucking desert. So when the sun goes down, the temperature drops like 50, 60 degrees, you idiot. Like you can get frostbite in Vegas, and nobody, like, whenever I say that, people are like, what?
Yeah, it blows your mind.
Dude, it's cold.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing to retain the heat.
There's a reason the pool's closed for 3 months in the winter, because it's just too cold to do it. There's no point.
Yeah.
Huh.
People are dumb.
People are dumb.
But that's all. I feel like when I say that, it makes me sound like such an asshole, because I'm like, this is knowledge that I have acquired firsthand over many years of traveling, and I know that not a lot of people like get to travel, especially to the extent that I have. But it's like, listen to those people who have.
Yeah, right.
Maybe they know what they're talking about.
I remember having to tell my friends that when they came here for it. I was like, make sure you guys do pack like pants and a sweatshirt, because it can get cold if we're out at night. Like, just be prepared.
Real shoes, not just flip-flops.
Yeah. The amount of flip-flops I saw when we were young blew my freaking mind. Oh my god.
it just makes me be like, oh, you've totally forgotten about what this is like, haven't you? Like,
Yeah.
so many years have gone by. Like,
Yeah.
like I was a part of a few of the Facebook groups, and there was people being like, I know I shouldn't, but I really want to bring my Crocs. And I'm like, no,
Don't do it.
Sandy, no, don't bring
Do
your
it.
Crocs. You're
No.
gonna break all of your toes.
Yes. Yeah.
All of
Oh my
them.
God. Yeah.
Like,
Especially later
people
in the
are
day
like,
when it got crazy.
yeah, I'm like, babe, just go back into your closet, dig those scruffy old Doc Martens. You will thank me for it later.
Mhm.
Make sure and wash your feet immediately upon getting back to the hotel. Ooh.
I went old school and I wore my Chucks, but it sucked after a while, but it was one of those things, nostalgic. I had to.
Oh,
I had to.
oh, you didn't put the insoles in?
No, I
Because
went old school.
that's what you do.
Yeah.
No, you go old school, but you got to put those insoles in because we are dying now on our
Yeah.
feet.
Now that we're old, if we're gonna go old school, we gotta do the old thing to put the insoles in. Yes.
You got to make sure that you can last all day into the night without being like, does anybody have a hacksaw? I'd like to chop my feet off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I need to sit down, but then I won't be able to get back up if I sit down. So
oh God, no. Oh my God, I did that one time. So the last year that they did Warped Tour was also, it was very like cyclical. Like, I got my start touring because Kevin gave me a start on Warped Tour. And then my last year that I was planning on touring was the same year that Warped Tour was ending. And so our last day was like July 2nd. And so then I flew down, or it was the first, I flew down from Milwaukee to St. Louis on the 2nd. And then on the 3rd was Warped Tour was in St. Louis. So I went and I got to say hi to everybody, and like Kevin and I had this really like beautiful moment together of me like thanking him for my career, and he told me how proud he was. We're both just like wiping tears. I'm like, I did not plan on this today. And then the next day I flew home on 4th of July, and it was just like this really beautiful like cyclical moment of like where like it closes at the start, you know. And I just remember that day walking around and just randomly would just like shimmy behind somebody's table into their merch booth and just sit in one of their chairs and being like, I will be gone in 2 minutes. Like, it's gonna be okay. Like, I would like I'd be like, do I know anybody in this row? Oh yeah, Matt's here. Great, I'll go talk to Matt and sit down.
that's
And then
funny.
I wouldn't get up for like 20 minutes. I'd be like, I'm gonna die. This is what getting old is.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Memories. Memories, memories, memories. Oh my goodness.
Yep.
So I love how all these topics we've had, but I guess another question I have for you, kind of go back to Vegas, is what's one thing that you want to do when you come back? Like, what's something you haven't done that you've always thought about you wanted to do, you want to go check out? Show, place, hotel, whatever.
Okay. So you can do just about anything in Vegas.
Facts.
If you know the right people to call and ask. I found out about this one thing that I have been dying to do. And there is a company that will take you and your group out into the middle of the desert and let you fire like a rocket launcher. Like, you can rent these incredibly crazy, weird, like way too powerful weapons, and you can go into the middle of the desert and fucking fire them. And I have always wanted to do that.
I would
Like,
love to do that.
I don't own a gun. I understand, like, there's so many issues around guns and everything right now, especially in this day and age.
Right.
But I just want to like fire a rocket launcher, and I don't know why. Like,
be cool,
I just want
right?
to find a sand dune and be like, "Sand you later, bitch." Like, I just want to be stupid. Like, I do. I want to say like stupid, corny one-liners as we're like firing at cactuses, or like, there's no cactuses out in the desert, but still, like, I just want to like I think it would be fucking amazing and so much fun. I've always wanted to do it.
There are places, yeah. Now I can think about there are a few places that do that. So
I know exactly who I want to call. Like I think I've still got I think I still have like a business card. But it's just something I've never had the time to do, or like the group that I was with wanted to do something else, and like that's not something you do by yourself, because then you end up on a list and then you get watched by the CA, and I don't need that.
Right.
Nobody has time for that. So I would love to do that. I've also never seen Penn and Teller perform.
Oh, really?
And I would love to see them perform before. I mean, they're getting older. Like,
right.
They're probably going to retire at some point, right?
Well, their venue, the Rio, is actually rumors of it closing within the next few years. So, yeah. So who knows? That'll be a thing. And
so let's get with Moose. Let's get this fucking planned out.
Yes.
Southwest is having a sale right now. Let's get this shit together. Southwest is like Southwest is my favorite fucking airline. I know people hate it because of all of the reasons why I love it, and I don't care. I love that trashy airline. I mean, it's not Spirit trashy, but it's like
it's not. I mean, I know quite a few flight attendants because Southwest's hub is here, and it's not always as bad as everyone thinks it is. It all depends on where you're at. So.
Oh no! When I was living in LA in my early 20s, my roommate who I told you about earlier, that she was a sous chef, she moved to Vegas to work in the culinary arts, and so I would fly out every now and then to go see her, like pretty regularly. So I would fly out on like Thursday evening, like early afternoon, evening, fly to Vegas, hang out for the weekend, then fly back on Monday. And I would always end up what they would lovingly refer to as the stripper buses, because girls would live in LA and then they would fly to Vegas for the weekend and work and make all the money that they needed for a month and then fly back. And so I got to know a lot of like these strippers like pretty well, because we would just be on the same flights. We'd always hang out in the back of the plane, get a little drunk, get a little rowdy, laugh our asses off. And then one night, my friend and I were out on the strip, and like usually happened when she and I were just like hanging out on the strip, we would get kind of like absorbed into a bachelor or bachelorette party. And one night we got absorbed into a bachelor party. So the guys were like, "Where do we go? Like, you girls live in Vegas." I'm like, "I don't live in Vegas, but I know where we're going to go." And so I called up one of the girls and I was like, "Hey, we've got this great group of like Aussies. They're super sweet. One of them's getting married. Want to come by?" So they like brought us in through the back door. They like VIP treatment. She was so sweet. Like, and then I looked like a fucking baller to all of these dudes, because I'm like, "Yeah, we're not going in through the front. We're not paying a cover charge. We're going in through the side. Like, I got this taken care of. Don't you worry about it."
Oh my God, that's
the most random shit.
And that's the best part about Vegas in general, is this the random shit you can do. If you meet the right person too, you can have the experience of a lifetime. If
you meet the wrong person too, wow, what a night you can have.
A whole other kind of experience, but other swing of the pendulum. We've met some interesting people in my time here and the things that we've done, so I understand that entirely.
Yeah, my favorite thing to do in Vegas, so you always get into Vegas and you always, that first night out is usually like, you know, people are there, you want to hit the ground running, you know, you go to a show, you get drinks, you get dinner, you get more drinks, you get more drinks, you get more drinks. Mm-hmm. You wake up hungover without a doubt the next morning, even a little bit. And my favorite thing to do is find literally any bar as close as you can to your hotel, preferably, that has outdoor seating. And you go and you get a Bloody Mary or a mimosa or whatever your fucking hair of the dog is that makes you feel better. And you sit outside under an umbrella and you spend your time while you're fucking healing and coming out of your hangover by making up stories about where people are from, where they're going, what they do for work, what convention they're in town. And you create these amazing stories. And like, Oh, it gets so much fun. If you get the right people together, like, though, you can get super creative.
So there's a place at the Paris. It's called Alexa's, and it has a really good brunch,
Yes.
bottomless mimosas. And it's if you get the outside seating, you're right there across from the Bellagio fountains. You get to see all types of people.
That's my favorite place to go to. I can never remember the name of it because I'm always so hungover. But I'm always like, we need to go to this. We need to go to the spot. I don't know where it is, but I will tell you when we're getting close. Like, it's fine.
Yep.
That place. Yeah.
That's my favorite thing to do in Vegas is go sit there and people watch and like you said, have a story for a tourist when they're walking by.
Or just overhear, like, the amount of conversations that you overhear because people don't, like, people are on vacation. You're like,
Yeah.
I'm never going to see these people again. Vegas's
Right.
whole motto is what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But if you talk too loud, it's not going to be.
That's the point of this show too. So
yeah, exactly. And I mean, like, I was it my a friend of mine who's Native American, one night she and I were drinking. She goes, I know what your Indian name would be. And I'm like, oh my God, please tell me. She goes, you're Rachel, no inside voice, Silverstream. And I'm like, fuck, yes, I am 100%. So every now and then when we're on this trip and like with friends and everything, I'm like, oh wait, I'm going to be somebody's store tomorrow, aren't I? Yes, I am.
I know that I have been in so many people's pictures and videos of the dumb shit that I have done and or said on this trip at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. So, you know, I'm someone's memory, good or bad.
Oh, my friends and I at Disneyland, when we all had passes, we one day we followed a family around and like because we just wanted to be in the background of every single one of their photos. And like the days coming to an end, we happened to be like near them after the fireworks went off or something like that. And the dad asked if one of us could take a photo of them in front of the castle, so we did. I handed his phone back and he goes, "We're hanging out with us all day." And I'm like, damn it, I thought we were so smooth. But the dad was the only one that noticed that we were in the background. And I'm like, please don't tell them. Like, please let them discover this on their own.
As they're scrolling through pictures when they get home.
Yeah, we weren't like so about it. Like, we would like pose like and be like, hark, what's over here? Dun, dun, dun. Like, we were yeah, like, you couldn't not see us, but we weren't like right behind them. We would be like off in the corner area, but like we made that was like, what the fuck are those girls doing? Like, those are my friends.
That, you know, it's funny is here, I've done that before here to where I would meet a group of people, you know, at a bar earlier in the day. And then sometime later that night when they're drunk as shit, you run into them again.
Just each other.
Vegas is huge, but you'd be surprised how many times you run into the same freaking people.
It's the law of attraction. If you see somebody, you either have a great experience or a bad experience, you're going to see those people again. Mm-hmm. Guaranteed. I love that about any, like, that happens to me all the time in LA. Like, you can literally be going from like Burbank to like Culver City and like, see the same people in traffic on your way down there and then park like 2 cars away from them. Like, it's just weird how that fucking happens. But Vegas is real fun. I love when shit like that happens.
I remember I was here for a bachelor party before I moved here, and I took the groom out and we met up with the bachelorette party, and I bought shots for everybody, and we got just blasted. And like 5 hours later, we just happened to run in. We were just crossing paths again, and they remembered us, and we just kept drinking together because, you know, we just happened to run into the same group. And
yeah,
then again, bachelorette parties stand out around here.
I mean, they stand out wherever they go. You can hear them from blocks away because guaranteed, the Woo Girls, 100%. Actually, it's pretty much the same. I mean, they call Nashville Vegas for a reason, because I think it's outside of Las Vegas and Atlantic City. Nashville's like the number 3 place for bachelorette parties. And there's a bar on Broadway in Nashville that my friends and I would go to on Sunday mornings because they had, weirdly enough, they had this great fucking spread for brunch, and it was like a honky-tonk bar, where like you had to go next door to like get food, and then they would bring it to your table at the bar. It was kind of a weird setup, but have like the table at the window, like they had this garage door that would come down, but it was all like just windows. And so on like really nice like sunny days, they would just roll the thing up so that you could like let some air into the bar. So we would always sit right there. And our favorite thing on Sunday afternoon, like early Sunday afternoons, would just be like watching all of like the bachelor and bachelorette parties, just like super hungover from the night before, just like stumbling to go find brunch.
Mm-hmm.
Like 9 times out of 10, they would be like the groups that we were drinking with the night before.
Right.
Like fucking amazing.
I love it to where there will be times where when I know it's one of those big weekends, busy ones, we'll go down with my friends to these places and you see the girls, even the bachelor parties, and they're walking in sweats, sweatshirts, sunglasses on. You can tell they're trying not to vomit everywhere, just trying to find somewhere to sit down and eat.
Just like the very slightest shade of green. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Although my favorite though is to watch the couples who come for like, they do the, together bachelorette parties. And then you can tell that they're fighting that next morning because of how they're acting when they're walking down. You're like, yeah.
The quiet fights that no one has that are screaming into the silent. Oh, those are my favorites. You just look at them and you're like, oh, he fucked up bad last night.
Yep. He's in trouble.
Someone touched the stripper.
Yes. They went together and it ended terribly. Go figure.
Or accidentally hit on her best friend, thinking it was her, knowing it wasn't.
Yes. I've seen that. I remember going out with some friends one time, and we didn't know that what was going on, but we ran into a bachelorette party. We didn't know it was a bachelorette party, and one of our buddies ended up having the bride on his back and like dancing around. She was drunk, hitting on him. And the next thing you know, here comes her dad, comes just beeline over. All right, let's get the fuck out of here because this is not going to end well for any of us at all.
It's all fun and games until you start touching other people.
Yes.
And then that's when you're like, ooh, things about to get saucy.
Yeah. Let's get out of here before it happens. Moose was there for that, and I know he has a story for that next time he comes on the show because it's his story to tell, but it ended not well. Him and I have had some fun in Vegas.
I mean, it's one of the cities you actually have to actively try and not have fun. Like if you are just impossible to please, you are just the Debbie Downer of your group, don't go with your friends to Vegas. Let them have fun.
Yeah.
Like it's one, I tend to take up the role of sheepdog whenever my girlfriends and I go out anywhere. Like we were in New Orleans, and our assistant tour manager was marrying our trumpet player. They've been together for like 8 years. They're finally getting married. And so that entire year, we were like, anytime we're in a really good town, we're going to throw bachelorette parties in every city. And we're all just going to go out and have fun with the girls. So we're in New Orleans, and the average age for the performers was like 22. None of them had been to New Orleans. So I am a sheepdog, and I am walking behind them, pulling girls out of bars, walking by themselves while the rest of the group is walking. So I'm making sure that nobody's getting kidnapped or raped or drugged or whatever. And I'm trying to keep them all together. And I do that in Vegas. But I also make sure there's a very fine line between sheepdogging and being like mom.
Yeah.
And like not letting them have fun. And like you have to find that line. Like safety is super, super fucking important, especially when you're in towns like Vegas and New Orleans and New York. Like somebody's got to keep their head on a swivel. Somebody needs to know the layout of the town. They need to know where you're going. They need to know what hotel you're staying at. They need a phone and maybe even carry around a charger.
Yes.
But like, don't forget to have fun, and don't forget to let everybody have fun. That's ultimately what you're there for. You're there to make mistakes and make memories. Just,
be smart about it. Kind of smart about
it. Don't rain on anybody's parade, and don't let anybody die.
Which it's funny because
the two main rules of Vegas.
And I 100% agree. We had a buddy. I brought a bunch of friends here for my 21st birthday, and they've never been to Vegas before. And we brought a friend who was the wet blanket of the group, and it was one of those things. Like, we took him out the first night we went out. We met a bunch of girls, and he offended them. So we're like, all right, dude, you can't come with us anymore. Stay in the hotel room. We're gonna go party. So don't be that guy, people. If you are that person, don't be that person. Don't go. Let your friends have fun. Don't be a wet blanket.
And you're also wasting so much of your own money. Like, you're paying for your flights, you're paying for the hotel. Like, why else are you there if not like have fun? Like, if it's not your scene, it's totally okay to say no and to not go and to celebrate your buddy's birthday some other way. Don't be an asshole. Don't bring the group down. Like, you're there to have fun.
Right.
Like, go have fun. Like, this is weird. Go discover the weirdness.
Yeah. If what we're doing is not your scene, go find something you want to do. Like, go make your own fun. It's fine.
I have always wanted to do like a photo shoot at the Neon Museum. Like, everybody who's there and does one, I'm just like, that's so fucking cool. Like, I want to do that. That sounds awesome.
There's a few people I wanted to do that with, but every time we've talked about it, they charge you an extra fee to bring in your own camera. So if you have your phone, it's fine, but if you bring your own. But the Neon Museum is amazing. Like, the pictures you can get, the photo shoots you can have is so much fun. I recommend doing it. Just don't make the mistake I've had friends do. They tried to walk from Fremont to the Neon Museum. Don't do that. It's a very sketchy part of town. Take a fucking Uber. Be smart about it.
Just in general, if you're not walking on Fremont Street or down the main strip, get an Uber. Yes. Also, that main strip is a lot longer than you think it is.
Yeah.
So don't try walking from like the MGM to like Stratosphere at like 2 p.m. You're going to die. Like, just stop. It's going to take you like 8 hours with like 6 different stops in casinos to like cool off and like get a drink and then keep walking. And it's a lot. Don't do that.
I mean, the Ubers are easiest. The Deuce buses.
You guys have the Metro too, right?
Yeah. And then there's the monorail behind MGM that goes all the way from there to Sahara. So you have options. Just don't walk it. Unless you like to walk, don't freaking walk it, people. That's insane.
I mean, and if you're going to, wait till the sun goes down.
Yes.
It will be plenty bright. I promise you.
And no matter what anyone says, because I met tourists that do this, no matter what anyone says, Fremont Street is not close to the Strip. Not as close as everyone thinks it is. Because last time I was on the Strip 2 weeks ago, we ran into some tourists. I overheard them talking about wanting to go to Fremont. And they're like, oh, we'll just walk there. And we're only at the Venetian at that point. I had to tap the guy on the shoulder. I was like, look, dude, I'm from here. Don't walk there. Take an Uber, find a way there, because not only is it long, but once you pass the Strip and you get to Naked City, it's sketchy as hell. Like, you don't want to walk there.
It's like it sounds ridiculous to say this and be like, no, you should get an Uber instead of walking, but it's like 2 miles.
Yeah.
Of like super sketch. Also, like, there's ton. I do love the variety of pamphlets that you can get while walking on the Strip. Yep. We had a contest one time of finding the weirdest one. Like, whoever had the weirdest one, like, all of their drinks were bought for the next night. I think my favorite one was somebody had photoshopped 2 penises onto one girl, and it was supposed to be like, chicks with dicks, whatever, but they fucked up and put 2 of them on it instead of just one. And I'm like, I kind of want to call and see, like, do we do this, guys? Do we see if she actually has 2 penises? But I won that with the card, so that was fun.
It's funny, that same trip for my 21st, I told my friends, I was like, look, you're gonna see people lined up on the Strip, slapping cards against their hands and trying to give them to you. Don't make eye contact. Don't take them. They didn't believe me. We get through the gauntlet. I turn around. One of my friends is like this, carrying all these cards. He's like, I don't know what to do with these. I was like, bro, I told you, man. I told you not to look. Just come on. Come on. They don't do it as much
it's
anymore.
Almost like, no, but I just remember when Elf came out, And there was that stuff of him going back and forth between the two guys handing out flyers. I was like, oh, he would piss so many guys off in Vegas, just like taking
Yes.
all their
Yes.
like, all like when it comes to Vegas, just Buddy the Elf walking out and being like, ooh,
Flyer.
she's wearing something shiny.
So with the times you've been here, what's like the craziest thing you've seen?
Ooh, a naked guy riding a horse down the strip, bareback, white horse,
Just butt ass naked.
bare ass naked. I
That
feel
seems
like he
uncomfortable.
was on a few drugs because he had the confidence to. Okay, this is again bareback. He somehow went from sitting on the horse to standing on the horse and like turning around and like waving to people like he was on a fucking parade float on top of a horse. And I don't think that will ever be topped.
That's amazing.
I was just kind of like, you okay, buddy? You doing all right? Just like waving back to him, like, do you want some water?
That has to be the craziest thing I've heard. Yeah.
A horse.
That's amazing. Just like, butt ass naked.
Where the fuck did you get a horse?
Yeah, right.
Like, is like Excalibur super angry that you stole like one of their horses? Like, where did you get this horse?
You know what's actually would surprise people? There's a lot of equestrians here in Las Vegas off the strip. It's crazy how many horses there are around here, and how popular the rodeos are here when they come.
Oh my god, dude, PR so good there. We were there one time while PBR is not the beer, guys. It is Professional Bull Riders Association. Yeah, dude, those guys go hard in the paint.
Yeah. Yes.
Like you think rock stars throw down? These guys' bodies are actually physically destroyed. Mm-hmm. And like there's no you're gonna witness some things if you see a bunch of cowboys walking around on the strip, go befriend them. Buy them a drink, they need it.
For real. And if that's your thing,
they're also the sweetest.
They are really are. And if that is your thing, if you love, the rodeo, PBR, whatever, South Point on the south side of Las Vegas Boulevard holds a lot of those competitions and does it and sponsors it. And you go in there during rodeo season, holy shit, the amount of cowboys that are in there drinking and the amount of PBR and that is being drunk.
Oh my god.
It's fun to watch. It is very fun to watch.
I met a professional bull rider at what's the name of it? Oh, I went Stagecoach one year, which is like it's like Coachella for like country kids. It's held at the same place, India. And my friends and I were just sitting on the lawn at the show one day, and this guy is massively drunk, comes over. PBR had some exhibition that they were doing, and he just like came over and just like sat with us, brought over just like a handle of Jack Daniels, like 2/3 full, and like just sat and chatted with us and just like kept slugging it back. And at one point I'm like, did you start with a full bottle tonight? And it was like all like he'd already drunk like the second third of it, and he's like, yeah. And I'm like, you might not want to go to sleep. Pretty sure you have a concussion that you're trying to drink away, and this is how you die. Like, please don't do that. We like very gingerly like walked him over to like the first aid, or like he needs help.
They can drink. Those guys can drink.
They can, and they have to. And there are some stories that those guys can tell. Holy shit.
Yeah. I bet.
Like, so, I would think that living in Vegas is like just a constant Halloween party. Just because there's so many like conventions that come through and events that happen that like Have you ever tried to sneak into anything?
Yes.
Like dress the part and sneak in?
Some of them, I know the comic book ones I've had. We've tried to do the AVNs before, but that one's a little, you gotta be careful there.
Were you about to say it's kind of harder?
Yeah, no pun intended, right? Well, because they always have that around my birthday. They always have it around my birthday, and so 2 weeks ago the AVNs were here, and it, we crossed our minds. We were down there for it, but
dude, that is something that I would love to go to. I think it would be so much fun just to like hang out with porn stars all night. Like, yeah, that sounds awesome.
I actually dated a girl who came down here. She came down without me for it, but I didn't know that she came. But she came for the AVNs, and she actually got in and like went out and hung out with the cam girls and the porn stars, and just like went to their mansion, hung out with them. I was like, that's pretty fucking cool. She had a great time with them, but something I wouldn't say no.
I bet she did.
I know she didn't tell me all the stories, but whatever.
Oh God, no. There's no way she told me all those stories. But yeah, dude, porn stars are a blast to hang out with. I think the AVNs would be so much fun to crush one year.
Well, there's a lot of like celebrities who just come down for it too, or just here.
Oh yeah.
So, and they're just walking around like normal people. You get lucky.
I mean, they are normal people. They just have a bank account that I will never, ever, ever fucking have.
It's surprising how many celebrities do come here, and then they're so like unassuming that they can walk around in the crowds and people don't know it's a celebrity unless you're absolutely obsessed with that person.
Well, I think they do it. I think it's easier to do it in Vegas because people just get like, even if you've only had a few drinks and you think you see like Matthew McConaughey, you're like, it's not fucking Matthew McConaughey. I'm just a little drunk. And it's like, no, that's fucking Matthew McConaughey. Like, that's actually him. But you convince yourself that it's not because Vegas has this weird effect on you, and you think that you're constantly like inebriated.
Right. I was in the mall one time and I accidentally bumped into the guitarist for Escape the Fate. Like we just happened to bump into each other, and I was like, hey, I know, you're in the middle of the mall, but cool, man, whatever. Like just random shit like that. So
yeah, guys on tour go to malls too.
Well, no, but they live here. Like they like live here, and so like it was just.
Oh my God, that's right.
Yeah.
Is it right?
Escape the Fate and Falling in Reverse, like Ronnie and those guys all live in Vegas, grew up here, so I know
Ronnie.
I know Ronnie.
Ronnie.
I love how we both had that same reaction when I said that. But
Ronnie. I will say that one of their songs is just like every time it comes on, like it'll be like a random Spotify mix or something, or like a Warped Tour mix or something, and like it'll pop on and be like, oh, I hate him, but I love this song.
What's sad is that When We Were Young coming back this October, and the band list isn't as nostalgic as it was last year. So it's decent. I mean, Blink's going to be here, so I'm excited for that. But like it wasn't My Chemical Romance and a Paramore kind of nostalgia. So won't be as good.
It's a different breed of nostalgia. It's a different flavor, but it's like it was a brand new festival, and it was one of those like, if this doesn't work, we want to make sure that the first one, like we want to make sure that our effort was like amazing. And so I feel like it was like the first time you have sex with somebody new, where you just that first time is just fun, like, oh, it's awesome. And then you're like, second time you're like, a little tired, but all right, let's do this. Like it's still good. Like
not as exciting and new, but
it's not as bright and shiny.
I mean, they're only doing it one day this time, so if it gets too windy, everyone's fucked. So
yeah, I saw that. I was like, fuck, they might be screwing themselves. I mean, it should be a weekend long thing, because you should have the opportunity to see everybody you want. And that's what I loved about Warped Tour, is that like, even if we were only in Unity for one day, the next day we were like maybe 100, 200 miles away. Yeah. Like,
so if you want to go,
you go again. Like we were in, oh God, I think it was like 2013 2015, 11, somewhere around there. We were in Cleveland and a tornado hit. I'm not even joking. Yeah, a tornado hit. It destroyed like a third of the tents. Like people, like it was bad. Like they didn't cancel the show though, because Kevin never cancels unless it's absolutely fucking necessary. But like I had a kid sitting out in front of my booth, or that was like hobbling around, who had a compound fracture on his leg because like something happened and like fell on him, and he like skin broken with his knee. Like, yeah, it was bad. And Kevin like offered, they're like, look, you can stay, you can leave, but your ticket is good for any future Warp Tour this year. Like, you can come to any Warp Tour, we will on ticket, you will get in for free.
That's amazing.
Yeah, because I mean, we're probably, again, only a few hundred miles away at most at some point during the summer. And be like, it's just Kevin. Kevin wanted to like make sure everybody had a good time. That's why everybody loved him.
I miss Warped Tour. Kevin Lyman did such a great job with that nothing will ever compare if he's not involved.
No, I know.
So you talked about what you want to do when you come back, the things that you've done. Do you have any advice for tourists who come to Vegas for their first time, their second time, third, whatever, like something, advice you can give them since you've been here so many times that people don't think of?
Unless you want to go to one of like a really high-end restaurant at one of the hotels, like I'm talking like, you know, like $1,000, unless you're willing to drop like $1,000 a meal at Aria, go off strip to eat. The food in Vegas is epic. You can find such amazing food regardless of allergies or dietary restrictions. Like, I'm vegan and I eat really well in Vegas. Don't be afraid of, oh my god, the brunch buffet at, I want to say, Caesars, I think is like the best one you can go to. Fucking just go. Like, eat until you pop. Pack things that are forgiving. Pack comfortable shoes. If you're going there just to have fun, like hang out, like do whatever you're gonna do, but like make sure that people know where you're going. Drop pins, have somebody at home who knows where you're going, what you're doing. They don't have to call and check in on you. Just check in with them every few hours just to be like, I'm still alive, cool, done. Don't need to catch up and find out what you've been doing for all 3 hours that you've been gone. Buddy system, never let anybody go anywhere by themselves. That includes boys to the bathrooms. Guys, always have somebody with you because you can get jumped. And remember, there are cameras fucking everywhere. So wait to have sex until you get to your hotel room, or your video will be traded amongst security guards. Guarantee you.
That's such great advice, because they're literally everywhere. Literally,
yeah, they are everywhere. Don't take cash, because you end up having to like rifle through it to find what you need, and then people know that you have cash on you and they will jump you for 10, 20, 30 bucks. It's not worth it. Don't get married there unless it is something that you have talked about before. Yes. It's all fun and games until you can't get it annulled before you leave town, because the courts are closed on Sunday and nobody stays Monday late enough for the courts to open to get it annulled.
Facts. Huge facts.
Ooh, if somebody looks too young, ask to see their ID and take a photo of it.
Yes.
I've heard if you hook up with somebody, take a photo of their ID as well, because in case Vegas babies happen, you need to get a hold of them.
You never know. That's actually great advice.
Yeah. I mean, literally, the amount of TikToks that I've seen lately of people being like, hey Scott, you remember hooking up this one festival? And then like a 3-year-old's on her hip. I'm like, oh my God, that is the worst way to find out that you were a father. Like literally like one of the main reasons I'm glad I'm a woman is because I know for a fact that I do not have any children out there. Like,
right.
Like, I don't know how men do it. Like that would be a constant fucking fear. I would turn 18 and be like, can I get a vasectomy, please?
It's yep. I live in fear. It's fine.
Maybe set up an appointment with your doctor for when you get back. Like before you leave for Vegas, set up an appointment with your doctor for when you get back, just for a general shot of penicillin. You never know.
You never know.
You never know. Always wash your hands. Always.
Yes. And I know this goes without saying everywhere you go, but for guys, girls in Vegas, especially, don't leave your drinks unattended. Make sure your friends are looking out for you too, because I've heard stories of friends of mine, of guys who've come to Vegas and they end up getting drugged because someone thought it was someone else's and it was theirs and they don't remember parts of their night. So,
or they saw them with cash out and they're like, oh, we're just going to slip some GHB into their drink and then rob them later. Like it's not always, it's not always about sex. Sometimes it's about money.
And I can say this from a friend of mine who's going to be on the show too, and I'd give him shit for this all the time. But if you're in Vegas and you're rolling with money, don't be careful. You put it in the machine. If you're trying to flash it, don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't tell anybody. Oh, here's a good one. Never book your flight home for an early morning. Book it for an afternoon. And while you're there, if you win any money, save the receipts and go back to the hotels to cash out the morning before the morning you're leaving. Yes. That way you're not carrying around cash and getting drunk and like spending it on shit. That has saved so many of my friends. Like literally, like I said earlier about sheepdogging, one of the things, if we stop at a casino, even if they win like $3, I instantly cash them out, grab their ticket, put it in my wallet and leave with them.
Yes.
Because then you've got their, like, you're not giving away money. You're not leaving it on, like, it just, you're keeping track of everything.
100%.
Yeah. 100%. And have fun.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. It's a great place. Have fun. Do some research before you go. But don't be upset if things don't go completely according to plan. Because the best things that happen in Vegas are usually the things that are completely unplanned.
Well, and that's right. And I tell a lot of people too, when they come here, if there's for sure one thing you want to go do, sure, plan that, do that. But for the rest of your time in Vegas, come roll with the punches. There's so many things to do here that you might change your mind once you land. You might find something that you want to go do over what you thought you wanted to.
There might be a surprise fucking pop-up, or somebody might be visiting and whatever. The way that I plan my trips usually is I like to plan the skeleton of it, like the details, like where we're flying into and out of, what hotel we're staying at, maybe one or two like activities, but then I leave like the bulk of it, like the body of it, up to the wind. Like you just have so much fun. Like do some research, have an idea of what you want to do, like maybe take a few things off the old bucket list, like have fun. Do the zip line at Fremont Street, like fuck it.
Right. Yes, hands down. There's always something to do.
Sing live band karaoke in front of strangers, even though you cannot sing. Who cares? Fun.
And this is the first time I'm talking about it on this show, but there is a place that does a really good job with karaoke. Cat's Meow on Fremont. It's upstairs. It's amazing. It's the same people that own the one in New Orleans. So come check it out. Go do that. It's a freaking blast.
There's also so many free things to do that you don't need to spend a lot of money. Go see the show at Treasure Island, the pirate show at Treasure Island. It's fucking stupid and hilarious.
So
wait out.
Want to know fun fact about that? That's
yes,
gone.
Please.
That's gone.
No. Now. Oh, I take it back then. That's sad.
It was great. But there is like there's a lot of free shit to do.
Get your buddies together and pretend you're in Ocean's 11 and go watch, the water show at the Bellagio the last night that you're there. Like, people watch. People are fucking weird.
Oh, and there's always free concerts on Fremont. There's always 3 stages going with cover bands that are amazing. It's always a good time. I mean, we were just there, and the band that played, they did a lot of 80s music, and it was fantastic. And they did some 90s. So they ruined Evanescence for me, but whatever. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah, the fact that 90s music is slowly starting to creep into like classic rock era. Like, I'm just like, fuck you and your fucking mother. Like, no. I'm don't you dare tell me that Ace of Base, I Saw the Sign, is now classic rock. You. I know, right?
It makes me feel old. It really does.
I still have their cassettes somewhere.
So there's just tons to do, and I think you provided great advice. Vegas is such a great place. I can't wait for you to come back to visit.
Me too.
Because then we're gonna have to go talk about bands and go bullshit, and I'm gonna have to go try this freaking drink now. These blue balls.
Yes. We'll get. You know what? We'll stock up on Nacho Daddy.
Yeah.
Plan our day. Go get some blue balls, and go make up stories about tourists. Go see some concerts.
That sounds amazing.
It'll be great.
It's a great. Rachel, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. This is a blast.
We'll have to have more stories and have you come back on sometime.
Should we do a live one when Moose and I are there?
Yes, that's already for sure going to be a thing as a live one.
Done.
Is there anything that you want to plug before we go? Anything that you're doing or you want to promote?
I'm looking for a job. Anybody with tour jobs or anything in the industry that's at home, sit down. I'm willing to move. No, I don't do anything more. My life is it's great. I don't have a schedule. It's wonderful. I'm a runner for a venue over here, and that's like maybe twice a month. But it pays the bills, so it's great. No, follow everybody. Go back and watch some old Schmodown matches. Watch the fucking Benny and Moose show that's on this channel. It's hilarious. At some point I will have been or will be on. I don't know when this is airing. I'll be facing off against Peggy G in a what was the movie? Now I can't even remember. This is going to be a real fun match. Yes.
Empire Records, right? Yeah.
In an Empire Records match soon or before this. Again, I don't know when this is airing. But just pay attention, support people, have fun, watch the Oscars, even though it's stupid. Crossing my fingers for RRR.
I saw
so
that.
Excited for that movie.
I did see that.
I deeply, deeply, deeply love that movie. But yeah, keep watching movies. Fun. That's about it.
Everyone does need to go check out Benny and Moose Save America. Yours truly is the bartender for those matches, and I will be on Rachel's match, so that I'm excited to be there for. Remember to like, subscribe, and set your notifications, because we got some great stuff coming up on this network. And again, Rachel, thank you so much for being here. That was a lot of freaking fun. We're going to have to talk more about music later, and we'll hope to have you back on soon. So yeah, thanks everyone for being here tonight. I appreciate it. Again, this was Beyond the Neon Veil. I'm Cousin Ryan, my amazing guest, Rachel. You guys have a great night, and we'll see you later.